Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows online at wcbe.org. I'm John DeSando.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
This is Cinema Classics.
Indeed it is. We got a new Cinema Classic. This is one, this is one for the ages. Do you not think, or?
Absolutely. I'm going to go so far as to say I think it's the best movie of 2021.
Yes, I agree.
And I'm really interested in it. Gee, I was hoping you were in your negative mood so I could find something to complain about.
That's funny you should say that, because I was slightly skeptical of this movie going in. I just, I knew that Spielberg was doing this. I didn't really understand why. I didn't know what he was going to bring to it. But, after Ready Player One, which is a hideous...
Yeah, I was going to cite that as one. I said, no, I don't even have a mark for that.
I would say that is Ready Player One, without question, is the worst thing Spielberg has ever made in his long, storied career.
And I'm looking through his oeuvre, and I think you're absolutely right.
It's an ugly, cynical mess. It's just gross. Anyway, so he comes roaring back with this movie, which is a kind of atonement, almost a love letter to cinema, this movie. I felt myself, at least the first 2 hours of it, just smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily in reacting to what the actors were doing, smiling in response to what Spielberg was giving us.
And I looked for the things that he would do to tweak it, to make it his own. But one of the things, as a good director, he made sure that he had a cast worthy of it. And this goes right down to the local boy.
Yeah, how about that?
To Hannah Lincoln, 2009.
Yeah, Mike Feist.
Yes. And he plays Riff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sue, I thought
star-making performance.
I thought he was outstanding.
He was
the best of that group.
And he's got a face that you don't want to turn away from.
It's so wonderful,
He draws you in.
Yeah.
Very smart casting from Spielberg across the board. I think Rachel Zegler as Maria, astonishing.
I hope she continues.
Don't you just fall in love with her?
She's so good.
And I looked at her filmography. There's not a lot there.
Oh, I know. There were 30,000 applicants for that job.
Wow.
Then she got it.
Amazing.
But the same thing happened with her, Anita.
Oh my
Ariana.
God. And I want to say this. Anita, played by Ariana DeBose.
Yes.
Another just astonishing star-making performance. So you got Mike Feist, Rachel Zegler, and Ariana DeBose making these incredible debuts. I mean, not only do they sing beautifully, do they dance wonderfully, they nail, when Spielberg's camera gets in there, there's that you can't fake. And these performances are sincere and open and just glorious.
Yeah, I had a friend who was complaining about his, what do you call it, low-angle shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's because they're all short.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Complaining about the low-angle shots.
Well, she was really picking it apart, and but I was happy to hear somebody.
Who is this person?
No, and this is a friend of mine,
okay.
And so but she was also picking apart the positioning of the songs, which is different from the original.
Right, and that is, I'm glad you brought that up, because I noticed that after the big clash between the Jets and the Sharks that ends in a tragic occurrence, they then cut back to Maria working, and she sings "I Am Pretty."
It's out of place.
I don't think it is.
Oh, you don't?
I think it adds a layer of tragedy to it, because here, this terrible, horrible thing has happened. Maria's completely innocent of it. They take us back to this moment. They take us to this moment where she is celebrating, and it adds this a pall over it.
Well, that's a really good take. I still think it's out of place, but I like your reasoning on, and it certainly would be Spielberg's reasoning,
or Tony Kushner's.
Yeah.
But I think the minute it happened, I had that reaction to it. What you're saying, I had this wow, this is weird. But the more I thought about it, the more I was listening to the song and the performance, it took on a sadness that isn't in the original because of that.
Yeah, well, tell me something in Spielberg's work that prepared him to do this. I don't see much that's musically oriented in his. Would Hook
No.
have been?
Hook was, playful, and there might have been a couple of songs in
Okay,
that, but
yeah.
I'm not sure. First of all, I mean, when you're talking about a master like this, and after this movie, I just thought we need to just start acknowledging that Steven Spielberg is not just one of the great cinematic artists
Yeah.
of the century, but, one of the great artists.
Well,
in
I'll
American.
tell you, I had a tough time with it because coming in with you, I was going to say almost exactly that, but I was hesitant because we both admire Martin Scorsese.
Right, but these are two vastly
I
different
know,
filmmakers. This is on a scale that's, Scorsese only recently sort of started to dabble in. And, Scorsese, I feel, also made one of the great American musicals, New York, New York, but is a very dark take on
Yeah.
the musical.
Yeah.
Um,
And Gangs of New York?
well, that's not a musical.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about
Yeah, I'm thinking about
scale and
preparations
Yeah.
for this.
So, the question, back to your question, what has Spielberg done that prepared him for this? I'm not sure, other than when I'm watching this movie, I thought, Spielberg is a master at movement, at wedding his camera to the actors. You'll notice oftentimes, Spielberg is famous for the oneer, the shot composition that keeps changing. He keeps changing shots, but the camera hasn't. There's been no editing, right?
Yes.
So, in some regards, this movie, he was made to make a musical because his camera is an instrument. He's played
Yeah.
it. He's played it like
said,
a violin.
Well said. I picked out a dozen heavyweight movies that he's made.
Mhm.
A dozen.
Okay.
I mean, that any director would have been happy to have one of them.
Of
But he had
course.
12. And that's when, as I was comparing him with Scorsese, I said, the range of Spielberg is much greater than
And
Scorsese.
maybe that's the answer, right? So early on in his career, Spielberg was known for the blockbuster,
Yes.
the Jaws, Close Encounters,
Yeah, you got it.
E.T.,
E.T.,
Raiders
right.
of the Lost Ark.
Good one.
Then he pivots and does The Color Purple, which at the time still nominated for Academy Awards, but people weren't ready for him to do that yet. Then with Schindler's List,
Then Schindler's, I think,
he
to
became
be that really,
the
1993.
real, right? Then it was undeniable.
I
We
got
could
it.
no longer argue against him.
Exactly.
And I think there's your answer. In between Schindler's List and Jaws is a filmmaker capable of anything he sets his mind and heart to.
And after that, can you imagine making Saving Private Ryan?
That too. I mean, good
wow,
Lord. Even the movies that he's made recently that operate on a smaller scale, like The Post or Bridge of Spies,
Yes, they are.
they're very small, but they're, I don't want to say they're minor. I guess minor works in his
Okay.
filmography, but even that, the mastery he brings to.
Oh yeah,
You know.
I thought about 2012. Lincoln
Oh yeah,
was a heavyweight for him.
by the way, I recently rewatched.
Ah,
I think I missed the boat on that when it first came out. I was just like, this is really more talky than anything,
mhm.
But on a recent rewatch, I was astonished at how blind I was to the humanity that he weaves in and out of the politics of that movie. Just the labyrinth that Lincoln had to navigate and negotiate.
And once again, picking a superior actor.
right?
Another thing that I think he's good at choosing his actors.
Oh, for sure. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, who is this person? How did they end up here? And then it becomes very, very clear why they're there, right? He definitely found some brand new stars.
Um,
So let's transition. Let me cue everybody to go
okay.
to the website. Hold on, wait.
Oh, well, I'm going to turn that
Okay, wasn't this Fork Cinema Classics?
Yes.
All right, that's it for now. But
Okay.
if you want to hear the full conversation
Yes.
on Double Take, head
course.
on over to WCBE.org and check out the podcast experience page.
With double take.
With Double Take, I said that, didn't I?
Okay, good.